All right, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee member Rand Paul on that. Senator, what your colleague was saying was the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, has to go.
Well, I'm glad to hear that he's coming around to take a tougher line on Saudi Arabia. For over a year now, I've been trying to get Congress to be sending more arms to Saudi Arabia, and so far, Lindsey's been on the other side of that. It's important to remember that Saudi Arabia is the largest state sponsor of radical Islam. They fund tens of thousands of madrasas around the world: Pakistan, India, Indonesia, Philippines, all teaching hatred of America. They've been doing this for decades. They're not our friends. And then look at what they're doing in Yemen. It's a catastrophe, a humanitarian disaster. So this latest episode with killing the journalist is just proof, that we need not to be arming them.
Well, you wonder then if we take apart the deal that we scored with the Saudis last year, $110 billion worth. The president was arguing they'll just go to the Chinese, they'll just go to the Russians, whether it's this Crown Prince involved in running things or not. What do you think?
Actually, we have extraordinary leverage over them. It's been reported that their Air Force can't go a couple of months without spare parts. Their Air Force is entirely U.S. planes. They're dependent on us for parts, mechanics. They're entirely dependent on us. They can't last months without our help. So we have the leverage in our hands. We tell them absolutely we are not going to do business with a government that chops up journalists, puts them in little bags, and then escorts them out of an embassy and dumps them somewhere. This is not civilized behavior. What they're doing is not civilized. What they're doing around the world, hatred of America, is not civilized. We have been turning a blind eye to Saudi Arabia for decades. They are the worst actor out there promoting terrorism.
So it sounds to me like, and we have a very bad connection with you, Senator. I hope I don't have to hang up on you here, but that the Crown Prince isn't alone the problem. It's the royal family itself. It's the pattern of behavior over the years that upsets you, right? So he could go, but you might have someone else who's just as inhospitable, right?
In Pakistan, they fund over 20,000 madrasas that teach hatred of America and hatred of Western ways and hatred of Christianity. They polluted Indonesia, which used to have a much more mild mainstream Islam. They're polluting the Philippines with Wahhabism. So, yeah, the Saudis are bad actors. But here's the thing is, we don't need to just sanction 15 rogue actors that they hired to send over here, 16 thugs or 15 thugs. We need to not sell arms to the regime because the regime is a bad actor worldwide.
Senator, I'd be remiss if I did mention there's another development today where a federal judge threw out the Stormy Daniels lawsuit versus the president. He went on to tweet after getting news of that, "Great, now I can go after Horseface," referring to Stormy Daniels and her third-rate lawyer in the great state of Texas. She will confirm the letter she signed. She knows nothing about me, a total con. What did you think of that?
I'm agnostic. I spend all my time trying to get us out of the war in Afghanistan, get us out of the war in Yemen, prevent us from bankrupting the country. I don't have time to get involved in things like that.
Do you find it tacky at this time that he is?
I just have no opinion whatsoever. I stay completely out of that stuff because really we have too many important things to talk about. We've been at war for 17 years in Afghanistan, and I do bug the president. When I talk to the president, what I talk to him about is, let's get the hell out of Afghanistan. We have no military mission over there. There's no military solution. And so I guess I just want to spend all my time on that. I'm just not interested in all that.
No, it's all right. I just wonder, you are trying to stick to that. The president did not. That worries some in your party that he's wandering off script here.
Yeah, I guess I just spend my time, talking about the things. I did speak to the president this weekend, and I told him that we need to cut off arms to Saudi Arabia, and I try to use any powers of persuasion I have to let him know they're not our friends, and that really the war in Yemen, he talks about how the war in Iraq was such a mistake. He's been very consistent and strong on that. The war in Yemen is exactly the same way. It's going to lead to chaos, and it will lead to be another festering ground for terrorism.
All right, Senator Rand Paul, thank you very much.